Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time doing another Christmas review, and this one is on The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, as you know, A Nightmare Before Christmas is a 1993 stop-motion animated fantasy holiday film that was directed by Henry Selick, who also gave us films like James and the Giant Peach and Coraline. And the story was written and based on a poem by Tim Burton, who originally considered doing it as either a short 30-minute film or a TV special, but decided to kind of make it into a feature-length film. And keep in mind that Nightmare Before Christmas is either a Halloween film or a Christmas film. It's either for what the fans decide, so I'm putting it down as a Christmas film. So the premise of the film is meant to follow the sort of popular character Jack Skellington, who kind of hosts the kind of events in Halloween Town. And you can kind of tell he's respected and approved of by the citizens, as he's known as the Pumpkin King, and organises the annual Halloween event. We kind of see how Jack Skellington is getting tired of the same routine. He's getting tired of doing the same things over and over again and wants to do something new. But of course, ends up finding Christmas Town and eventually gets the idea to become something like Santa. And you can kind of tell in Jack's mind, he thinks it's a good idea on pen and paper, even though in reality, it's a terrible idea. And you can kind of tell Sally does have mixed feelings about this, and does try to warn Jack of the possible consequences. And I would say the film has a bit of a message, like you don't need to do something big and epic to get other people's approval, as people respect and approve of you for who you are, and that you shouldn't really do something that you think people are gonna like, as sometimes it can affect others. And you can tell, well, Jack does mean well, but doesn't really think of the consequences of what his actions could lead to. And you can kind of tell, yeah, Jack's actions do kind of put a lot of people in danger, and doesn't think through his actions. And I would say for the most part the film really does try to capture the Tim Burton magic. Like, it keeps the kind of dark fantasy still alive, but mixing Christmas with it. And I would say what makes the villain Oogie Boogie work is that he's kind of shown to be this sleazy kind of gambling addict, and is meant to be based on the Boogeyman. And of course is meant to have a history with Jack Skellington that was kind of revealed in one of the prequel games of Nightmare Before Christmas. And I would say the monsters designs in the film are unique and interesting. And I would say for the most part, when you've got Christmas Town, it kind of keeps true to what a kind of Christmas special from the old 60s and 70s were. And I think for the most part, I would say when you've got Santa Claus, you can kind of tell he does get annoyed with Jack's actions, but you can tell he does kind of show that he's not angry, but kind of annoyed with what he tried to do. And I would say the film really does work. You can kind of tell there's a difference between Jack and Sally. You can tell Jack just wants to do something new, something fresher, but that fails to realise that he still had he could have still done something new without kind of going to the extreme. And you can kind of tell Sally respected Jack Skellington for who he was, but you can kind of tell does try to be the voice of reason to him. And I know there was a PS2 game called Oogie's Revenge, which acted like a kind of game sequel on the PS2 and Xbox. And I would say the film message about not trying to do something for the wrong reasons, or if you're thinking you're doing something right, works. And I would say for the most part, Nightmare Before Christmas definitely works as a film. If you're a fan of Christmas films and horror films mixed together, this is definitely your film. So I think this definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.